Hey everybody!
Lolo, Roro, and oh wait, it's not Brandy.
I'm new, brand new to the party.
Yeah,
We decided to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, I feel good. It's good to be here too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
We brought a little
awesome.
testosterone today.
We did. We needed this. Austin's our first guest, so this is a big deal, and he's also my stepson, which is kind of cool.
Right here,
Woo!
yeah.
Bonus moms, bonus son, love it. So we decided we were going to bring Austin on today and talk about millennials and just what they're doing and what they're into and how they're kind of changing the way they do their lives and their careers and whatnot. And so
I think this is an awesome conversation because I feel like there has been this generation gap.
well, we grew up and we were told to go to college, and that was your only choice. If you didn't, you worked at McDonald's. Like that's what they told us. And now, like, you know, Austin's dad is a serial entrepreneur. He's done that his whole life. He actually, I think, did a week of college or something and quit. And
I don't even think it was a week.
yeah, I don't think he was made it a whole week.
2 days.
Maybe you made it a couple hours.
Yeah, maybe a day. But so he's been in kind of like consulting in the network marketing world for a long time, and he's brought Austin into that. And so Austin's now working with a company in, you know, network marketing with his dad. His dad flew him down to Florida, and Austin got to meet the owner and other millennials that are making 7 figures. They, you know, didn't go to college, and they're making 7 figures now. And then he also
So not just 6 figures, they're making 7.
seriously, yeah,
I
at
can't
like
even count that high.
24 years old. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then before that though, Austin 2 years ago started a mobile detailing service called Break It Down. So he's just a really driven young entrepreneur. So I thought, you know, it'd be really cool if we could hear his story and pick his brain.
My sons went the college route. You know, they started, you know, I have a college graduate and 2 that are still in school now, you know, and even though I have my one son though, he's starting to kind of feel like, is this really what I want, and why can't I be doing this on my own? He has a successful YouTube channel that's, you know, growing and doing its thing now, and this is something that he really loves to do. You know, some parents get to that point where it's like, no, you got to do this. You know, like even like my in-laws who believe in like that college.
Some
you
people
know,
don't
thing,
grasp
you know,
entrepreneurship. They don't understand it. They can't
No,
wrap their heads around it.
And you know, and although I didn't go to college, I do own my own business. I went
You went
to
to
trade
technical
school,
school, yeah.
went to technical school, cosmetology school. My older daughter went to cosmetology school. My younger one did go to college. So I think it just depends on, you know, what's your passion, what drives you, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Because so many times my opinion is that, you know, parents push these kids to go into school, then they get into school, they fail out the first year, or
Yeah.
they decide that's not what they want to do, and they're still trying it. So, you know, right out of high school, I think it's almost better try what you're going to do, and let's say you nail exactly what you want to do, and then there's that college piece that you might want to go to that would fill that need that you might be missing.
Well, we all did that to him. He graduated high school, and everyone was like, go to college. Even though his dad's such an entrepreneur, start your business and go to college. And Austin was like, whoa, guys.
I told him too. I was like, I'll go to college if what I want to do doesn't work out. And they all told me like, oh, you don't want to go to college late, and I was like, I mean, I'm 18 years old at this point. Like, you know, I could realistically go 10 years of kind of like in that hamster wheel, not knowing what you're doing, and still be okay. Not like that was my plan or anything, but like I knew I had that kind of like period of time where I can figure it out.
Right.
And so that's kind of the route I took, was like, if college is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end up in college.
Right.
But I was the kid in school that, like, you know, I didn't even want to be in school. I didn't like to pay attention. I thought that I didn't need to apply the stuff I'm learning in history to my real life, you know? So, like, I already struggled with that sitting in class and learning aspect. And going out and doing things like sports I loved, because you could be in the moment, you could do it. And that was, like, what kind of won me, you know, kind of won that feeling of being an entrepreneur, that, like, success, you know, doing it.
So when you started your first business, it was the detailing business then. So tell us what sparked that, and how did you get to that
I'll tell you,
point?
yeah, a funny story, because my first job, my dad actually got me, was a job. His buddy was, he owns a restaurant. And I started off dishing, which was awful. And then I, you know, got promoted to busser, and I would walk home with like $50 in tips and be like so excited. Like I'd be like, oh, I made cash today, guys. What'd you do? And it was cool to make that cash in hand. So I think that was like the
I know
first
the
thing.
feeling with tips in the salon.
Right. It's great, you know, like you got cash,
I know.
on top of your paycheck, and what kind of like put me over the boat with the job was that I was working all these hours, and every 2 weeks I get my paycheck, and you work like a full 2 weeks no matter what you do for that paycheck, and I'd get like $300, you know, and I'd be like, well, I'm making tips and blah blah blah, so then I get promoted again, and they were trying to train me to be a manager, but they put me in expo, which is like the guys that grab the plates and they put like the, you know, cilantro
Garnishing,
on top
yeah.
and all that, put the, you know, whatever. So I'm thinking it's this big promotion. Well, it ended up I had to be the expo, but also do the dishing, and also do the busing, and also do the pantry.
Came
But
with more
get-
responsibility.
for a 50-cent raise.
Oh,
Wow.
And no tips. So it's
Oh, and no tips in that one.
right.
Wow. So in a sense, what you were taking in
I was getting
went
paid
down.
less.
Oh.
So, and that's when I kind of looked at myself and I'm like, this kind of sucks. Like, they're saying I got promoted, and I feel like I got demoted. Like, I'm doing all
Right.
this work.
Did you tell them?
Not really. No, I dealt with it for like probably 4 months because I just needed the paychecks, you know, whatever. And so Dad actually told me, he's like, hey, you should like detail cars, and I was like, okay. Blew it completely off for like a whole year. And I remember he actually went out, he bought me the supplies, he got me all this stuff, and he was like, here, clean me and Brandy's car. I was like, all right. And I cleaned it, I made $100, so I was like, all right, this is cool. You know, I was making like $300 every 2 weeks, so I was like, that's like a third of my paycheck in 2 hours.
You're right.
But then I had the thoughts of like, oh, well, you know, it's just my parents, nobody's gonna do this, da da da. So like, what really got me to the point of like, holy crap, I can do this, is he taught me to like make a post on Facebook. I made the post. I had no clue, but like, I scheduled like 30 cars over the next 2 weeks and made $2,000 in 2 weeks.
Nice.
So like,
That's what I'm talking about.
I was holding the cash in my hand, and I was like, okay, so let me get this straight.
I think
Like,
you're gonna inspire so many detailers now. Like global details.
everyone's gonna call me like, and it was crazy because I worked the same, probably less hours
Right.
On your own hours.
on my own hours.
My
Told-
son's
told them
starting to
that.
realize that. He
Yeah.
wants to be the entrepreneur. He wants to, you know, grow. He's growing to that now. You know, knowing what he's worked for, you know, worked for other employees, and he did the detailing for like, you know, some of these major car companies, and you know, and it wasn't like, and they weren't really
I think
paying.
they pay hourly.
They weren't, yeah, they pay hourly and stuff, but still.
And you're
what
not
he could-
doing your own thing.
Yeah,
You're not
right.
building your own
You're
brand.
not, you're
And
not.
That's the beauty of Austin. So he started this, God, we had so many like strategy sessions that I would cook dinner and he'd come over and we'd have whiteboards out.
You've said you were so your dad like too many times.
I actually took pictures
Yeah.
on Sunday of
Yeah.
them doing, the network marketing company, which we'll get into, they were strategizing while we're all like playing with the kids on Sunday. But the cool thing that makes him a little even like wiser beyond his years, the piece to the story is that he started this detailing business, but he named it Break It Down Auto Detailing.
Yeah.
And he named it Break It Down because his uncle, his dad's brother, passed away 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago?
5 now.
5 years ago from pancreatic cancer, and he always said break it down. That was his
Actually,
catchphrase.
I have Break
Aw.
It Down
Sentimental to it.
tattooed on my body. So like, Break It Down to me, the actual being an entrepreneur wasn't so much about money at first. It was more of like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I do it.
Right.
Because Paul became an inspiration to me almost, I won't say too late, but like,
You
when
were
I-
young.
well, when I first started building that relationship with him, he got cancer, you know, so like his life flipped, and like, even though he tried to still be him, you know.
So look how you're honoring his memory.
Yeah, and that was a spark for me just to be like, okay, you know, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. And that was part of me naming it Break It Down, because it's tattooed on my body, you know, if like there's a time where I don't want to detail a car because I'm lazy, like, are you going to be lazy or you're going to go do what you said you were going to do?
Right.
So that was the inspiration behind it, the spark pretty much for me, for sure.
Congratulations.
Isn't that exciting?
It is exciting. So here's the poll.
Okay.
Here's the poll and how everybody felt. Hold on. Is college a good investment since a lot more people are beginning and succeeding at careers without that degree? Question. Comment why to share your thoughts for a future episode. And 33% said yes, and a whopping 67% said no.
Yeah.
You know, and so when this started with Austin, I actually argued with his dad several times about it, and I'm like, he needs to go to school. Like, I didn't go to school.
Mhm.
I went to school for aesthetics, and then I was a stay-at-home mom. And when I left my ex-husband, I had no career, I had no degree, I had nothing to fall back on. And I became an entrepreneur and really became talented and good at what I did, but I was turned down for several high-paying jobs because I didn't have a degree. And so I kept saying that, I don't want to see that happen to him. But then we've seen this whole flip with the stuff with his dad and him getting him into network marketing and seeing these kids that are making more than their parents ever made and this ridiculous money. And it's like, okay, well, I was in an old way of thinking you gotta go get that degree because you don't. It's some people do, and college isn't. It is for some people, but it's not for everyone. And he's kind of.
I got
But
both.
he hustles.
He
and
hustles.
He knows it, and he knows how to do it.
Yes.
You can't just go and take a course or take a class and not implement what you've learned either. So, by everything that you're learning, you're implementing it makes the hugest difference.
Right.
So tell us more about the network marketing.
I'll touch on what you just said real quick though.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because that was what made me not go to college.
Uh-huh.
Because you guys could sit in front of me and teach me how to cut hair and do stuff here.
Right.
And I would not know how to do it unless I just messed somebody's head up.
You gotta
And
make a mistake.
That was my first, if I'm gonna learn anything in life, I gotta go do it. And I'm not gonna touch on that job for a long time in Pittsburgh or whatever, but I went out to a job in Pittsburgh and learned a lot about myself, and it's a whole year of my life that maybe we'll do on another episode. But it was.
We need wine for that
Yeah,
one.
no, that was a whole experience, but that was going out there and learning and going through all the hard stuff was actually the best thing I could have done for myself. It was a year versus 4 years, and it was real life instead of learn about real life. So on the college note, on the new business with my dad, the coolest thing for me about it is that I could work with my dad. Because it was funny when I was younger, people would ask me, "What's your dad do?" And I'd be like, "I don't know." I have no clue. And they'd be like, "So what does he do?" I'm like, "He travels."
He sells things.
Yeah, he sells things, and when I was younger, he was doing super well, and he was showing it by buying cars and stuff. So people thought my dad was a drug dealer, because I couldn't describe what he was doing, But network marketing is amazing because you can literally make money from meeting people
And helping people.
And I've always been told, one of my best friends, Nico Cedar, actually told me this. He goes, "It's not about, no, show me your friends, I'll show you your future." And, it's been so true for me because in high school when I wasn't doing much in my life, well, so were my friends, and they're still not doing that. And, your circle gets smaller, but it gets stronger. And,
Yes.
network marketing is literally about meeting people that have the same drive as you, that want to do the same things.
And I think you can carry that over into any business. I mean,
Any
I call myself the millennial OG.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm serious. I feel like I'm the millennial OG. I think you are. I think you're her as well because we didn't.
I'm a perennial.
We are.
I just transplant into every single one of them. So there's no millennial or.
Oh, now we got to end
All
the
that, yeah.
episode, but
Yeah.
this was a really good talk. But the whole millennial OG is I was in that whole sphere a long time before now meeting you and that I've been on the right path all along.
Right.
It's not an easy journey, but it's a self journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing for me. Even though I went to college and even though I got a degree in that, it wasn't until my trade school, when I went and got my aesthetics license, or when I went to become a massage therapist, is when I felt useful.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I felt like I was tapping into some artistic endeavor that was going to get me back to even just what I'm doing now. Now I'm doing art. So it's just all those things, but you can network market in all of
Yes.
those arenas
Absolutely.
to do the things that you really
They all go
love.
back to
And
personal
that's what I do
growth.
with my life coaching.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
great.
mean, that's
And so we were just talking about that earlier.
Personal growth,
And that's
the
what I
one
was
thing-
saying. It's your ideal client. What's your ideal client?
Right.
Your
That's the
ideal
one thing
client
I've
is your
noticed.
networking friend, and that's who you're networking with. Then that's the level of income where you're
Yeah.
going to get.
Look at how we met.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we met through networking several years ago.
Mhm.
That's the one thing that, not just with the millennials, but I'm watching them do it too, which is really cool. Entrepreneurs, I've noticed as a group, as a whole, really focus on personal growth. we're reading, we're learning, we're praying. I mean, this kid just got baptized like 2 weeks ago. Like, he's working on some serious personal growth. And
That's great.
that's the one thing I think that a lot of kids miss, and that's one
Yes.
message I think we get out, is that you go to college, you do what you're supposed to do, you stay on your hamster wheel, and you keep spinning, but you don't step outside of that. And I think that's what they miss. And and that's what I'm learning from these kids. Like, just they're Mike's on trips with these kids, and I had bought Mike some spiritual book, and he comes home and he's like, that book is great. And I'm like, great, I want to read it. He's like, oh, I let so and so borrow it. I'm like, what? That's great that
You're supposed to let me borrow
he let Josh borrow it. So you got it from Josh and bring it back to me after you read it. But these kids are just hungry for it, and that's beautiful. I love it.
Well, you're setting a great example, and obviously you can see the results. So,
Amen.
and he is who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for
We
having
really
me.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it too. It was fun.
Great.
All right.
Sorry I didn't
Alright.
dress any better. I could have probably put some. I was detailing.
You dress millennial.
I was detailing.
Yeah. Perfect.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.